that wholeheartedly give without restraint and ask for so little in return. Psychic awareness is this kind of blessing. The beginnings of my psychic ability. As awkward as it's been for me at times to explain my occupation to others, I've always felt comfortable with psychic energy and psychic phenomena. As far back as I can remember, I have been aware of a subtle and comforting spiritual presence that communicates, comforts, and guides. However, I didn't always recognize it as psychic, intuitive, or spiritual, or as anything unusual or questionable. As a child, I had a lot of freedom. My parents divorced when I was 6, and my mother went to work full-time. By the time I got home from school, she was gone and didn't return until late at night. Some weeks, the only time I saw my mother was when I went into her bedroom to say goodbye in the morning before school. I didn't have much of a connection with my father either, since he moved to a distant town after the divorce. My siblings and I spent most of our time with babysitters, usually high school girls who lived in the neighborhood. Our longest-running babysitter's idea of watching us was talking to her friends on the phone and shooing us outside to play until dark. We didn't complain and always found something to do. With a fair amount of time alone, I often found myself in the woods near my home, burrowing into the green trees and brush. I pretended to spy on others or hide from make-believe predators. I would also just listen. I don't know if this started as a pretend game, but I never felt alone. Huddled in the thick foliage in the summer, and in the winter when the frozen snowy hills and valleys were vacant, I sat alone and listened to the inner whispers, often accompanied by buzzing and tingling sensations of energy moving up and down my arms and on my scalp. I could feel things that made sense and felt good to know. Sometimes, if I closed my eyes, I could see pictures and images. These sensations and images were accompanied by feelings that at times moved through my heart with an intensity that brought me to tears, and other times lulled me into a soft feeling of being loved. The feelings and thoughts that floated into my body, heart, and mind helped me to better understand my mother and father and myself. Although I didn't always understand all that I received and experienced, it didn't matter. There was something warm and comforting close to me, and I held on to it. Even though I spent a lot of time alone in the woods, no one ever asked me what I was doing there, and I felt no obligation to share my experiences with anyone. There really wasn't anyone to tell, and I had no words to explain what was happening anyway. Many of my friends had close grandparents or other family members, or a special teacher or neighbor they gravitated toward. I had this presence, and I was not going to let anyone spoil it for me. As I got older, my curiosity and interest in understanding and knowing why people acted the way they did, and why life was the way it was, became a driving force. This was likely the result of my chaotic home life, which included an absent father who liked drinking more than being with his kids, an unpredictable mother who could go from one emotional extreme to another with no notice, a second marriage and divorce for my mother, and the failed experiment of a blended family. I listened and clung to an invisible source of comfort and caring. Perhaps this intuitive connection was my way to have some form of control or create a sense of security. Knowing and feeling what was coming before it came, and understanding and having insight into another's behavior, helped me to feel a sense of order and predictability in what otherwise felt random and out of control. Connecting to this calm presence felt good. Being at church, home, school, or even with my friends couldn't match the electricity and feelings of peace that came over me when I was quiet and listened. If there was a choice about what to place my faith and trust in, the Invisible One hands down, and it still does. While I didn't have a name for it when I was young, I now know that my psychic development began in the woods huddled in the trees, simply listening. Psychic awareness is still a source of spiritual connection that provides me with a loving and wise nurturance that I do not want to live without. Guidance on the psychic journey. I've been a professional psychic, medium, medical intuitive, and psychic detective for over 30 years, most of my adult life. During this time, I have given readings to